Hey guys, so I'm here to talk about what if it doesn't work out with your twin flame. So if that interests you, keep watching. Hey, and welcome back. Now this video I'm going to talk about twin flames because there are quite a few misconceptions around that whole topic, and that it's the ultimate and easy and all of those things. It's not. And sometimes, honestly, it just doesn't work. People have tried as hard as they can, and they're just not on the same level, not on the same wavelength in this lifetime. Everybody has conditioning and things that carry on from the past. Maybe they had a rough childhood or come from a lifestyle that's a bit toxic and unhealthy, or have spent most of their life dealing with addictions or something and just haven't had the chance to spiritually awaken, so they're at a bit of a different level from each other. So yeah, when that happens, sometimes you do have to let it go. You do have to accept, and the accepting can be hard, but it's also very freeing once you do it and you know you've let go and that there's more out there. I mean, just because it didn't work out doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever. You might meet somebody you're actually far more compatible with and can have a much happier relationship with. So, that's not impossible. So yeah, I'm actually just recording on my phone because something went wrong when I was making this video and I had to refilm this bit. So yeah, if the color's changing a bit, that's why. Different conditioning, traumatic experiences, just totally different backgrounds and values can make it at a personality level hard to build life together. Spiritually you can be as connected as anything, but if your personalities are not seeing eye to eye, it's not going to work out so well. So I've come across quite a bit of that with clients recently who've tried their absolute best and their hardest to make a situation with their twin flame work, and they sort of come back to me and say, well, I've tried this, I've tried that, and it's still going to custard. And then sometimes it's just time to go away. You'll need some time to nurture yourself and to care for yourself, but you will get there because there is no time. You've got forever to reconnect with your twin flame, and right now might not be the right time, and that's okay. And it might not be in this lifetime, it might be way further down the track, because there is no time, when you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective. But we are human beings, we are beings with feelings and experiences and things like that. We all have a bit of baggage of some sort, and if you can't be open and vulnerable with your partner and feel safe, it's pretty hard to work through that stuff. So, if your vulnerabilities are not cared about or understood, yeah, you can keep doing that till you're red in the face or ancient and old. It won't work out. So it's okay for it not to work out. Don't ever feel that it's not and that you have to make it work out. It's a vibrational frequency match, and it's wonderful when it does work, but honestly sometimes it's healthier to step away and know that it's just not going to work right now, and that's okay, and to open yourself up to further down the track meeting somebody else. And it may just be with a really nice person who you do have a soul connection with, but it's a lot less intense and a lot more peaceful and a lot more gentle and loving, because that happens, and it's pretty amazing when it does. So yeah, sometimes then it's time to say goodbye and move on, because it can become too painful if it goes on for too long, and sometimes either party might run off for whatever reason, And yeah, it's not something that's sustainable because it's quite exhausting and quite difficult. So sometimes we have to say, well, actually, no, enough's enough. That doesn't mean you hate the person. It's just a matter of letting go and letting them find their own way. So often, yeah, people also have different conditioning, different childhoods. Some people have had very tough childhoods or come from families and places that weren't very healthy or maybe quite toxic, and they're just at a totally different level of understanding and ways of doing things. Like if they come from a bad childhood, they might be quite verbally abusive or don't know how to handle their anger, and no, you don't have to sit there and go, serve it up, I'm your twin flame, I have to put up with all of this. You don't. It's okay to actually say enough's enough right now, we can't do this. So yeah, different conditioning's pretty major thing, or traumatic life experiences, where people react quite strongly. Sometimes, yeah, it is time to let it go, to bless the whole connection and let it go. That doesn't mean you'll be alone forever. I've met many people who've had those intense encounters with their twin flames and have then gone on to meet somebody they're sure they have a soul connection with, but it's much more peaceful, it's much calmer, it's much more comfortable, it's more productive in some ways. So it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you can actually have a more stable and healthier relationship with somebody who's a soulmate rather than a twin flame. So, it's quite challenging to let all of that go. Sometimes one person's spiritually more aware than the other one, or one just doesn't want to acknowledge that side of things and is quite shallow and more fixated on the practical aspects and the deeper aspects of the connection and the relationship. They sort of see things quite differently. One might be quite aware of energies, whereas the other one puts it all into boxes of how it has to be. And those two, yeah, they're just at odds. And you can't always kind of create something that works that well together. So if you do need to let go of your twin flame, of your twin soul, it is hard, but I think if you really deeply understand what's going on, it's okay, and you can be at peace with it, and you can also know that you're not going to be alone forever. It's not like that. That's not your one and only. It's just a very intense connection and a very much of a mirror. So often they are more peaceful connections ahead of people. So finding peace with all of that is in understanding the whole situation and realizing that actually harming yourself is not what's meant to be happening. You don't need to harm yourself to grow. You can grow in a much more peaceful and happier way. So, if your twin's got some pretty unhealthy patterns or lies or just behaves in a toxic way, you do not have to lie there like a doormat and put up with it. You can remove yourself and you can move on, and you can understand that that is just not a union that is going to work right now, because we are the infinite. Sometimes we're at different sort of phases of this lifetime that we've incarnated into, and we're just at different stages of life. Oh, here comes the cat. She's going to shake everything around. And we have to, make peace with that aspect, and also know that the infinite doesn't need it to happen right now. It might happen a long time down the track. Who knows? But letting it go is important, just for the peace and the acceptance and being able to heal from that and move on and actually build a healthier connection with somebody else. So one thing I do want to say though before I finish this video, and that is really that some people you have that intensity with, they're actually not your twin flame. They are actually quite an unhealthy personality, but the personality disorder, and they kind of intentionally create that intensity to hook people. And your twin flame would not intentionally disempower you. put you down, try and make you, not succeed or destroy you. That's not your twin flame. You're quite likely to be with somebody with a personality disorder if that's going on. And yes, there will be overwhelming intensity in that connection, but that is because it's been intentionally created by the person who's a narcissist or has a personality disorder, and has intentionally generated that through the traditional things like love bombing, like over texting, overdoing at the start until it hits a point where they start devaluing and degrading and putting down their partner. That is not your twin flame if that's what's happening. If they're dishonoring the connection and lying and cheating, that's probably not your twin flame either. You're actually with somebody who's created that intensity and that sense of need and connection on purpose. And be very wary of that. That is not a twin flame. A twin flame, even if they stuff it up and if they do some stupid things, generally wants to empower you and to help you to grow, and will accept you and will not put you down. They will try and understand you, even if they can't always get it right, So it's just sometimes your twin flame and you are at different stages of your evolution in this lifetime of waking up spiritually and things like that. But outright, toxic abuse is not your twin flame. You've been hooked by somebody who's not a very good person for you to be around. So run and get some support, because those situations can be quite shattering. So, but if you have been with a twin flame and it hasn't worked out for you, big step is forgiving yourself. No, twin flames are not the ultimate ever after. They can be if both parties are pretty awake, pretty conscious of what they're here for, what their purpose is. If they're both on purpose and on path with what they're here to do, then they can really build each other up and grow. But if one is totally unaware of what they're here to do and just kind of muddles around life, there will be a discrepancy of awareness, and it can be quite hard to build a life together with somebody like that. So so don't beat yourself up if it hasn't worked out. Be kind to yourself, be nurturing, understand that it's actually a small part of a very, very long story, and it may work itself out further down the track, but don't get too attached to that either. Don't sit around and wait, because it might not be in this lifetime. So if you meet somebody who's lovely and caring and you really care about, don't sort of mope around for your twin flame. Get on with life. That person has also turned up in your life for a reason, and it may very well be a better relationship. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the twin flame thing. I've been thinking about that because I get quite a few requests for readings about situations like that, and I wanted to make a video about it. So lots of love to you all, and don't forget to love yourself every day and every way. You're the one you have to look after. So see you all in my next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.